It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Middlebury College assistant women's ice hockey coach, Coach Ashley Salerno. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get into coaching in college women's ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I had thought about coaching from the time I was in high school. And then, I think at that point it was more just about staying involved with hockey and not being able to see myself not doing something in hockey. And then once I got into college, I really kind of solidified in my mind that coaching was the career path that I wanted. But by that time, I think it was more about like making an impact on players and kind of being a mentor like my coaches were for me.
What was that experience like going to Vermont and getting to play collegiate ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, my time at Vermont was amazing. I had a lot of years playing hockey, but I can honestly say my senior year at Vermont was my favorite year. My teammates and the people I was surrounded by were a huge part of that. My coaches cared a ton about me. I developed a lot. I think probably the most in any single year that year at Vermont. My teammates are still a lot of my closest friends to this day. Being in Burlington was an awesome experience. So just all around, like I have nothing but amazing things to say about my year at Vermont.
What was that experience like getting to put on that ice hockey jersey for Vermont?
Yeah, I mean, really, really special. It was an honor and a privilege. I think so. I actually have my Vermont jersey hanging up in my apartment. And I think, sometimes I look at it, it still gives me chills just thinking about putting it on. And there are a lot of things I would do to be able to put it on one more time and play again. But it really was a really special feeling and such an honor, such a privilege.
While at Vermont, what were some of your collegiate ice hockey accomplishments?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that season was really special. It was a year of some firsts for the program. We won our quarterfinal game at home against Maine in Hockey East playoffs, and we ended up advancing to the Hockey East semifinals for the first time in program history. And I think that was kind of the coolest accomplishment, just kind of helping the program take that next step and being involved in kind of a record-setting year at that time. I think that was definitely the biggest accomplishment.
As a collegiate athlete, what was that experience like getting to play the Maine Black Bears?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We went into many overtimes and won in dramatic fashion. It was definitely a tiring game. But it was really close. It was hard fought. And being able to come out on top after a bunch of overtimes was honestly probably my favorite sports memory to this day. Obviously it was just a quarterfinal league game, but being able to do something we hadn't done before and in such dramatic fashion was just something I'll never forget. Like I watch those highlights and it still makes me tear up, and it was amazing.
Coming out of college, what was it like getting started in coaching and first becoming a strength and conditioning coach?
Yeah, so I mean, coaching right out of college was great. Like it solidified in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. That was the career I wanted to pursue. I was lucky enough to have a really great mentor in Bill Mandigo and a lot of other really successful coaches here at Middlebury. And then, like you said, becoming a strength and conditioning coach as well has also helped me here being able to train our players, train our women's golf team, help some other teams here. And then also I coach overseas with the Turkish national teams. And so I've helped them implement some training programs and things as well. So it's definitely helped me having that certification.
What was that experience like the first time you came to Middlebury and you got to become an assistant coach in 2014?
Yeah, I mean it was really special. It was a very successful program and one with, one of the most successful head coaches in college hockey. And so being able to work with him, and then at the other end of the hallway on the men's side was Bill Beanie, who is one of the most successful men's coaches on the men's side. So um, I think just being surrounded by so many good mentors in a place that cares a lot about, not only academics, but also athletics, and getting to work with great kids, just, it really made me know that, ice hockey coaching in college was what I wanted to do.
In 2016, what was it like getting to go back home to Vermont and getting to coach at your alma mater?
Yeah, it was such a special feeling. And to be completely honest, I'm actually going back to UVM to coach next season. And I think going anywhere to coach is exciting and you learn about the school. But I think when you're an alum of that school, you already have that connection. Like like I love Vermont. I had a great experience there. I can't say enough good things about it. And so I think in helping the athletes who are there right now and coaching them, but also in trying to help like young student athletes decide to come to Vermont, I think it's so much easier because I know the school, I know the program, I know how special it is, and I'm not trying to sell anything. Like I'm literally able to just from experience say this place is special. Like I want you to have that same opportunity I did to experience this place and to have these memories just like I do. So I think there's something special about being an alum and getting to coach at your alma mater that you adore.
What was that experience like becoming a head coach for the first time and getting that head coaching job?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience. I loved my time at Castleton. I was only there for a year, but I learned a ton. I learned a ton about myself. Learned a ton, just about coaching in general. We had a pretty successful year. Took some good steps for the program, but more importantly, um, just learned a lot. I mean, being the one making the decisions is different. And I was with both Bill Mandigo and Jim Plumer, who, those are the coaches I had worked with prior, Bill at Middlebury and Jim at Vermont. They're both awesome. Like they let their assistants have so much say and they're so involved in everything. But at Castleton, like now the decisions were falling on me. Like I was the one making those decisions. And I think just having that responsibility was um, a really good learning experience for me. And it made me know that someday I want to be a head coach as well.
Of course, what was that experience like at Castleton being a head coach, and what were some of your accomplishments?
Yeah, I mean, accomplishment wise, we went from like the previous season, they were like a 500 team. We improved our win total from 8 to 13. We improved in every statistical category. So I think like from the outside looking in, I think there were a lot of markers of success for sure. But I think overall, like the biggest accomplishment was really just the improvements we made in team culture, like how much more the girls were enjoying coming to the rink. Seeing individuals develop and the team develop. So I think outside looking in, there are a lot of markers of success, but to me, the even more important part was seeing people develop, really enjoying their time there, and just seeing that culture really start to change in a really positive way.
Of course, coming to Middlebury again, what was that experience like returning back to Middlebury and becoming an assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean it was great having the opportunity to come back here. It was a place where obviously I got my start and had a great experience first time around. And for me, the decision to come back was simply about wanting to work with work with great coaches and to continue to work with great coaches in a place that I knew I really loved. And I knew it was a place that cares a lot, like I said, about hockey. And it was a place where you know, this school attracts a lot of really highly motivated student athletes. And so it was an easy decision to come back. And I'm so glad I've had these last 5 years here.
Of course, in 2016 and 2022, what was that like getting to coach that championship team?
Yeah, I mean anytime you can make it to the NESCAC championship, it's special. Our league is, the toughest league in Division 3, like from top to bottom. There's the most parity. And so anytime you play a game in your league, you could win and you could lose. Whether that's, the first seed playing the 9 seed, every game is close. Like I really feel like there's no such thing as an upset in the NESCAC anymore. And so being able to do well enough in the regular season to put ourselves in a good playoff spot and then being able to advance to the NESCAC championship is always really special, and kind of our number one goal here at Middlebury is to make it to there, and to win an SCAC championship.
During your time, what was it like going to 5 NCAA tournament appearances?
Yeah, it's, I mean, really special. It's the most fun time of the year, right? Like that's what at the beginning of the season, your goals are to be able to get there, and then obviously to do well once you're there. But I think it is such a cool experience. And every time we're there, I really try to help the players enjoy it, because you never know if and when you're going to get back there. Like it's really hard. There are a lot of good teams, and so getting there is so special that, trying to do really well, and hopefully you're peaking and playing well at that point, but also like taking a step back and saying like, let's enjoy this experience. Like don't let this pass by, because you don't know if you're going to get it again, realistically.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped to build for the Middlebury College women's ice hockey?
Yeah, obviously Bill Mandigo has kind of been the driver of that culture as a head coach here for, I think, like 35 years. Might be 36. I'm not totally sure, but many years. And so he's kind of been the main driver of that, and it's been great getting to help him with that and kind of keeping the culture rolling, because to us it's the number one thing. In recruiting, we're always looking for players that are going to fit our culture and fit our mold. And that's, we won't sacrifice that for, just a really good hockey player. Like we want people that we want to be around and that we want in our locker room. It's a long season, and, you want to spend time with good people who are going to respect each other, be good to each other, but also push each other and want to compete on a daily basis too.
Who are some of those teams that you face in your conference?
Yeah, so we play in the NESCAC, the New England Small College Athletic Conference. So it's us and 8 other schools. So, they're called like the little Ivies. So it's a lot of really high academic institutions kind of up here in the Northeast. They're all really good academic schools and all have really strong hockey too. So an amazing league to be a part of.
What is that experience like getting to coach against some of those teams like Colby?
Yeah, I mean it's great. Colby and all the other NESCAC schools, like you play them and you know that you're in for a battle. Every single night in our league is a battle, which I think prepares our league and the teams in our league really well for the playoffs. I mean, we this past year we had 4 teams from our league make it to the NCAA tournament, which I think is really telling. Like we have so many strong teams in our league, which just makes it really fun, night in and night out.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a coach versus for your players?
Yeah, I mean, a typical game day for coaches is honestly, um, you're doing some prep, but there's a lot of waiting around on game day. Like as a coach, the majority of your work and your prep is done way before game time comes around. Like the hay is in the barn at that point, right? You've done your prep, you've done your pre-scouting, you've worked in practice all week. Now it's kind of time for the players to shine. And so, we're kind of ready. We get things set for game day, but the majority of the work on game day is kind of on the players at that point. We get to be a part of it, but I would say we're doing a lot more in practices and early in the week than we are on actual game day.
What does that home game atmosphere look like?
Yeah, I mean, home games are always awesome, being in front of your own fans, and both Middlebury and Vermont get great crowds, which I think is different from a lot of the schools in our leagues. We get really good support from students, but also from local community members. We have people here at Middlebury who come and save their seats an hour and a half before the game with programs, because they want to sit there. Those are their seats. And it's the same thing in Vermont. You have a lot of local community support, which just makes it really special.
Of course, what does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's different for everyone. For some players, we've talked to them for many years, kind of leading up to them eventually deciding to come here, and for others, we kind of find them late in the process. But I think the important things are that we get to know them. We get to know them as people to make sure they're going to fit with our culture. Obviously, we're evaluating them on the ice too to make sure that they're going to be a good contributing member of our hockey team. But for all of them, it's gonna be a different path and look a little bit different.
Of course, what does that official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to Middlebury College?
Yeah, I mean most of our recruits will come and it depends on the time kind of in their process. If they're a freshman or sophomore just coming to look at campus, it might look a little bit different than someone who is further down the road and you know very seriously considering Middlebury and it's kind of that decision time. So it might look a little bit different, but I'd say we generally try to set them up with a campus tour so they can see the whole campus. We will walk them around athletics, show them our locker room, the gym, the rink, our lounge, kind of all the different facilities here in athletics. We'll kind of sit and meet with them about their process, about our program, get to know them. And then oftentimes, especially later in the process, we're having them meet some of our players as well. Like we want to make sure that they click and that they have a chance to ask questions of people who are currently in the program too, to kind of get their ideas.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those prospective student athletes fall in love with the uniform of Middlebury and the ice rink?
Yeah, I mean it's really exciting. Just seeing them enjoying their experience matters so much. That's at the end of the day, that's kind of why we do this, right? We obviously want to win and we try to be successful but at the end of the day, like to me being successful is having, getting players here, helping them grow, helping them succeed and kind of setting them up for the next stage of their lives, but enjoying it too. So when they come here and they have a good experience and they, um, enjoy putting on that jersey and they're smiling and having fun, like that's to me, there's a lot of success just in that happening.
What is it like as a coach seeing those players putting on that jersey for the first time as a freshman and the last time as a senior?
Yeah, I mean, I think first time as a freshman, it's pure excitement and joy and a little bit of jealousy too, right? Like I would do anything to go back to 4 more years of that. But no, seriously, it's exciting for the freshmen. For the seniors, I would say that's one of the most emotional times for me as a coach. Seeing seniors put on the jersey for the last time, seeing seniors end their careers. That's at the end of the season, like even if we win a game and it's the opponent seniors who are ending their careers, like I'm finding myself tearing up and kind of holding back tears because I've been through it. I know how hard it is to kind of end the career. So it's definitely emotional on both sides of it. Excitement at the beginning and then like a sadness at the end.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those seniors go on and achieve great things, whether it's going into the corporate world or going into professional ice hockey, playing for teams like the PHF or the PWHPA?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like I was saying a couple minutes ago, I think that's what matters, right? Our players coming in, enjoying their experience and getting better and more prepared for what's next. So, college is 4 years that fly by, but they're setting the stage for, the rest of their life. So it's setting the stage for their next career, maybe any future they have in hockey afterwards, whether that is PHF, PWHPA, or, wherever they're heading to play. So just seeing them grow and develop is really kind of what it's all about. Like when they get here, they're arriving at a certain level. We want to make sure that every player that goes out the door is like leaving at a much higher level, that every year they're getting better as a result of their time in our program.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those players on TV playing in the PWHPA or the PHF?
Yeah, I mean it's really cool. Obviously, a lot has changed in a short amount of time. I graduated about 9 years ago, and we didn't have those opportunities then, and so it makes me so happy to see the players these days, graduating and going on to professional hockey careers where they're now being compensated in a way that, allows them to kind of have hockey be their full-time job for some of them. So it's really cool to see. And honestly, I'm just excited to see what comes next because we're just in the beginning stages of it.
What is that like seeing those players go on and then getting into college coaching like you have?
Yeah, I mean that's really special too. And I always encourage anyone who's interested to try it. Like it's, I always say like it's a career, it's not a job. Like obviously there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. There are late nights, there are long hours. Like it's not, I'm certainly not saying it's easy. But it doesn't feel like a job. And that, I get up and I go to a hockey rink and I get to work with people that I love and are passionate about hockey just like I am. And you still get to kind of compete, which to me is important. And I think a lot of college athletes love that compete factor. So, I think any current hockey players who are thinking about coaching, I would say try it, give it a chance because it's a really cool career.
What are some of your future plans for Middlebury College?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm moving on to the University of Vermont for next season, so I won't be here at Middlebury anymore. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing kind of where the program goes because it's a great place. Really successful hockey program, and I'm excited to see kind of what they do going forward.
Of course, what advice would you give those high school athletes looking to get into college ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, college hockey is really, really special, and I think no matter what level you play at, whether that's Division 1, Division 3, or club, say there's somewhere out there for everyone. There's a place you can play at one of those levels, and I just think it's a really special experience getting to be a part of a team, getting to work towards common goals, getting to see how good you can be. Um, it's honestly it was such a great experience for me that I would highly recommend it to anyone who is thinking about, playing hockey in college at some level.
What advice would you give those freshmen entering their first year of collegiate ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I would say is like enjoy it, but understand that like it goes so fast, right? So like work hard, enjoy it. Don't take any of it for granted because you put that jersey on for the first time and senior year feels so far away. It's not like it comes so much faster than you think. And so I would just say enjoy every minute of it, but make the most of every minute of it too. Like work hard, put in the extra time, put in the effort, knowing that those 4 years are going to fly by and you want to make the most of every single one of them.
What advice would you give those players looking to play professionally, whether it's in the PWHPA or the PHF?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds like it's been a great experience for anyone that I've talked to. Um, Sounds like a great way to stay involved with hockey after graduating. And like I said, it sounds like things are moving in a really positive direction as far as just like the leagues in general and ability to be compensated and just the level of play and everything. So, highly recommend that as well to anyone who has that opportunity.
What advice would you give those collegiate ice hockey players looking to get into college coaching after their collegiate career?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend that to anyone, kind of like I said before, like it's it's a special career, it doesn't feel like a job, and I think um it's something that anyone passionate about not only hockey but also like being a mentor and teaching and having a positive impact on people and being a leader, I think, it's definitely something to try.
What advice would you give those future coaches looking to get started in the coaching world in women's ice hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different than what a lot of people think. I think when you're in college and you're thinking about coaching, a lot of people see the on ice piece. They see the practices, the game day. Um, but I think there are a lot of other things behind the scenes. Recruiting is a really big piece of it. You're going to spend time on the road. There's going to be a lot of meetings about culture and leadership and things like that. So I think sometimes people in high school or college overestimate the amount of time that's spent on hockey details. And then I think when you get into it, you realize that yes, those are important, but there's so many other aspects of being a coach that are also really important. But I would just, my biggest piece of advice would just be to be a sponge, like surround yourself by good mentors and people you're going to learn from. and soak it all in, ask questions. Like, I mean, at every stage you should be learning, but I think especially in those first years, like, you're just figuring out how to coach, like be a sponge.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Middlebury College at Women's Ice Hockey app?
Yeah, so we have an Instagram account that we use very regularly, both with Middlebury and then also at Vermont. And then I have my own personal Instagram account as well. And then, I think Instagram's kind of what we use mainly now. I'd say for social media, that's kind of the most popular tool that we're using as far as social media.
Thank you again, Coach Ashley Salmon, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Middlebury College and wherever you may go.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Ashley, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.